It's time for another garden harvest. Let's see what we can find. It is now July 22nd, 2024. Somehow we're in the last week of July now, and August is upon us. I feel like I was just saying that about June into July. The year is just flying by yet again. I feel like each year it goes by a bit faster. I haven't been out in my garden in 3 days. I'm not quite sure how long this video is going to be. I don't know what's going on with the chickens. Number one, because it's July the 22nd and this video is supposed to go out tomorrow on the 23rd. So I need to get this filmed and then edited. We were away this past weekend for Matt's brother's wedding. And I took the weekend off from working. So there's that, but also we are supposed to get a good bit of rain today, which I'm very excited about. We haven't had much rain at all this garden season. It's supposed to rain pretty heavily and steadily for the next few hours. So I need to get this harvesting done before that heavy rain comes. The chicken freaked you out. Did she startle you? These sun gold cherry tomatoes are so prolific and honestly one of the sweetest tomatoes you will ever taste. One ripe tomato. Two ripe tomatoes. Three ripe tomatoes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, but this one's split, so it's going to the chickens. 9, 10, 11, 12. Isn't this one cute? One more. Nice striped one.
One tomato.
I think I might see one in this jungle. This is a tomato I just let go crazy. I did not prune back at all, and it shows. But she's still healthy and producing a whole lot. I see 2. There we go. 2 more. The cucumber plants have seen better days. They're still alive, still producing a little bit, but I will be honest, I haven't been a good gardener for the last few weeks. I've been pretty consumed with just preserving food and my other normal household duties, motherly duties, all of those things. I haven't been watering the garden, so some things have been suffering, my own fault. And it's been very, very hot. So obviously that's not helping, along with not watering. But I've also had some pest pressure really pick up since I haven't been on top of it. I have seen cucumber beetles, some squash bugs over on the zucchini, which is done for. I'll show you that in a moment. And like I said, I haven't been out here at all in the last 3 days. And we've got some real winners that are gonna go straight to the chickens. But I've already preserved everything I wanted to with the cucumbers, so anything else that came afterwards was just gonna be gifted away. So unfortunately I won't have much to gift, but there's still a couple good ones here we can give to friends. Another good one, so there's that. I still have to look a bit more, but we've got two very oddly shapen cucumbers that are gonna go to the chickens. They'll love it. I think I'm going to be pulling these plants out here in the next week or so, and I need to focus on planting some things for the fall garden. I wanna do a better job. Sorry, there's bugs. I wanna do a better job this year. In years past, I always had good intentions of starting the fall garden. However, I always ended up just being a bit too overwhelmed, and I couldn't handle one more thing. This year, I've done a much better job of handling stress and not allowing myself to get too overwhelmed. I have come to terms with just some things not getting done. But I do really want to get a fall garden in this year and have a successful one. So I'm thinking along these trellis here, the two little supports I have the cucumbers on, I want to do some more peas. And very soon we'll be harvesting some potatoes, which are along the other trellis where I had peas in spring. We're going to do a second planting there for fall as well, and I need to do that very soon. Grant, here's some cucumbers. Do you want to give them to the chickens? They're a little spiky. Do you want mommy to do it, or can you do it? You got it? Well, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
You got it? Okay, dude, thanks. They're too spiky for you?
There's a one pipe under the one.
Another big one, but I think it's still edible. Might have to take some of the seeds out. When they get big like that, they're just really extra seedy. When they start to get a little yellow, they're gonna be pretty bitter, but we'll give this one a try. We'll see how it is. A couple munchers here that are all good size. Look pretty good, so we'll give these to some friends. This here is a very sad zucchini plant. It is just all slumped over and on its deathbed. So this is what it looks like when either squash vine borer, that's probably what it is. I saw a whole bunch. Yeah, I can see them down there. I'll have to get the camera. I'm pretty sure those are squash bugs. This is what happens when they get in there. It almost looks like it needs water, but no amount of watering will do it any good. It's just done for. But I did get about 25 zucchini off of this plant, so it did its job well. But like I said, I just wasn't really on top of the pest this year. I could totally plant another one and still get a harvest off of it if I want to. So we're gonna clear out this bed and I'm gonna finalize what's gonna go in its place here. Soon a lot of spaces are gonna be opening up because it's harvest season. And if I have it in me, if I have the capacity, I don't like to see empty spaces when I know it could be producing more food for us or for other people. So we're gonna get to that soon. I do see one more zucchini. I think it'll be its last. All right, you see the base of the stem there, it just has been ravaged by maybe squash vine borer, but I did find a squash bug, which can also just do a ton of damage. I don't know if you can see the little guy down there. I can't get it any closer. He's just hanging on that dead leaf there. That's a squash bug. I'll put a picture on the screen of what they look like. So we're on to some bush beans now that I should have harvested before I left this past weekend. We were out in Indiana, PA for my brother-in-law's wedding, and we had quite a long drive. And the entire drive, I just thought about all of the things I probably should have harvested before we left that were already in need of harvesting. And now there's a lot of overdue beans for picking and a ton of bug damage on them. So chickens are gonna get a feast. Some of these plants are really getting eaten alive. But we'll see what we can get. I didn't necessarily need to plant beans this year. I have so many left over from last year, but you know, just in case like this, a year doesn't go great for a plant, I like to plant things every year, maybe not a ton of them, but just enough so that we have a continual supply in case we have a bad year. That's just where my mind always goes. So it's not like a huge loss if I don't get a ton here, but still a bummer when things are devoured by bugs, which most of these are. This is what the leaves look like on a lot of the plants. And like somebody had the munchies here on the beans themselves. You know what I find super irritating? When they like take one little bite out of this big long thing and they just go to the next one. Like, no, just focus on this one and leave the other ones alone. Like, why? Tiny little bits out of each bean. Honestly, not a whole lot. Ooh, that one doesn't look very good. Let's put that one in the other pile. Not a whole lot of beans in general on the plants. I have about the same amount of bug-eaten ones over there. They'll go to the chickens. So just a little bean harvest today. There's a couple beets in here. They're most definitely ready. There. This was just kind of like an afterthought planting. I was like, oh, there's an empty spot. Let's throw some beets in here. Not a ton that are ready because they're getting quite a bit of shade from this dahlia here. I think it's really just that one, but I know of another location. Let's see if there's any in this little spot. Yep, here's one. These I did not thin out at all. They're still doing pretty good. I think I saw another one. I'm honestly surprised at how well they're doing for being so densely planted. We gotta go the other side. Nope, that's it from here. The wind is starting to pick up. Something's blowing in. I gotta keep moving here. There's still some in this bed. So I mentioned that we were at my brother-in-law's wedding. It's in Indiana, PA. He went to IUP. That's where he graduated from, his undergraduate. And that's where he met his wife, and they kind of settled in that area. So the wedding was over there. And I didn't work. I didn't want to because, you know, every once in a while you need a little bit of a break to fill your own cup up and replenish. And it was really nice. We had a wonderful time with family. Matt and I enjoyed some time together. My mom kept Grant and Eleanor for us, so we got a little bit of a break to just enjoy one another. That's really important. As parents, you still get to enjoy each other and get some time away every once in a while. So we enjoyed our time together, but I think we came back more tired than we left. Who else has a really hard time sleeping in any bed but their own? This girl does. And so we got a bed and breakfast, which was beautiful on this 100-acre farm. There was a pond outside our window. There were bullfrogs croaking all night. But said bullfrogs were very, very loud, and there was no air conditioner, and it was like 100 degrees. We put a fan in the window, but didn't quite cut it. So we didn't sleep very much. And then the night before that, before we left, you know, like just leaving my kids and making sure everything was ready for my mom. I didn't sleep the greatest that night because my mind just kept going. So I'm a little bit more tired than when I left. But we still enjoyed ourselves, so that's all that matters. Matt and I picked a bunch of raspberries last night. There were a whole bunch after we hadn't picked for a few days. They ripen so quickly this time of year, so there's a couple handfuls this morning. The size of these things. And they're so sweet. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. You made them a house? Very nice. I bet you they love it. The size of these berries. These are the Joan Jay. Another handful. Little handful of blackberries. Very tart because I have not been watering them. Gotta get in here into this jungle. And there are some tomatillos that are most definitely ready for picking. Quite a few, so some salsa verde is in the future. Oh my goodness, so many weeds. I'm gonna show you the bed of potatoes that we're probably gonna be doing for our next harvest video. You can't even see that there were potatoes planted. July is the month of the weeds. Tomatillos. Just from 2 plants. I honestly don't know if this is good or not, if this is typical production. I haven't grown tomatillos a whole lot. This year I decided to because I was out of the salsa verde I had canned a few years back, and I needed to replenish the stock. I almost didn't get to because the tomatillos that I had started from seed died. And I was searching all around the area. I guess tomatillos aren't like a typical thing that people grow in gardens. And it wasn't until I went to the 5th greenhouse that I found 2 plants. And you need 2 to pollinate against each other or else you won't get any tomatillos. So 2 plants. That's gonna be a pretty big batch of salsa verde. So in this space here that is just covered with weeds next to the tomatillos, I did have 9 purple potato plants. They are no longer to be seen because they have since died back, so they're definitely ready for harvest. And that mess back there, all those tall weeds, that's a 4x8 bed of potatoes where you also can find no evidence of potatoes ever being planted there. This is, I think, the longest I have let potatoes go in my garden. I'm a bit behind on harvesting them, and usually by this time I have my 2nd round planted. So that is a project for one night this week. Matt and I are gonna come out. We're gonna harvest all of the potatoes. So I have that 4x8 bed, this section here, and then in the back where I have my raspberries in the raised bed, next to them I have another 4x8 bed. And then up in the front, I have 3 rows. So that'll be coming next week. On to harvesting some more kale. Quite a bit of bug damage on it now. Lots of little baby caterpillars. Still a few good leaves though. Lots of these little egg clusters and lots of these guys. I need to spray if I want to get any more from this kale. Pretty poor kale harvest. I got one whole leaf off of the lacinato kale. It's just completely devoured. And just a couple from the blue scotch curled kale. The chickens got a feast that they're loving. There's lots of worms on them as well for them. But it's 'tis the season. It's just the time of year for it. I need to start some fall seeds here soon. Maybe we'll do that next week perhaps. I need to start some kale. I mean, this kale will keep growing, but it'd be nice to have some healthy starts going into the cooler season that I can overwinter. So we got to do those. We're working on peppers now that it's July. We're going to have peppers and tomatoes coming in. Something new to add to the harvest. I have some, these are pepperoncini. You can harvest them when they're like that glossy green yellow. I believe that's preferred for like pickling them. For fresh eating, I want to say it's when they're more of like this. They kind of turn this like amber red color and then into this brighter red color. They're better for fresh eating, or so the interweb has told me. So I'm not totally sure what I'm gonna do with them. If you have any ideas, let me know. Should I just pickle them? Is there a recipe I should try? I also have some shishito over here that we're gonna grab, and I know I have some jalapenos as well. I wanna make some cowboy candy with those. We love cowboy candy. Still quite a few small ones in that plant. Some more down here. Okay. Got a whole bunch of holy basil in here while I'm here. Let's grab that. Need to get some more of this dried for teas and tinctures. Okay, now what I don't remember is where the shishito peppers and the pepperoncini meet. I don't remember how many of each plant I did, and quite honestly, they look pretty much the same. Well then. So I know this plant here is shishito. I know that. I just don't know how many over the pepperoncinis start. This is my first time growing this variety, shishito. And when I researched, it says the ideal time for picking them is when they're between 3 and 5 inches in length. They're this glossy green color. It's best to eat them when immature for the best flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna harvest these. If you know something different, if you've grown these before and I'm doing this wrong, please go ahead and tell me. So I get the ideal shishito pepper. I think I'm just gonna try these blistered with our meal. I think a lot of what we're harvesting today, while I am gonna preserve some of it, I'm gonna cook some things with it this coming week. So stay tuned for that. So my best guess is that the ones on the left here are all shishito. The ones back here on the right are pepperoncini. I didn't keep labels on them because I figured it'd be easier to tell them apart. I didn't think they would be like almost exactly the same. Like this one for sure I know is a shishito because I planted that one on this far side here, and I know for sure that this one is a pepperoncini because I planted it on the far side over here. They look identical. I mean, a pepper is a pepper. I guess we'll have to taste them and see if there's a difference. I hear thunder in the distance. So it's gonna be time to go inside soon. I've got jalapenos here. So these are jalapenos without the heat. I get the seeds from Baker Creek. These are very easy to tell apart. Thank the Lord. Don't have another look-alike over here. It's a whole bunch already. Wow, some of these are huge. Is that a funky angle here for my hand? But some really big ones. These are even bigger down here. Make some really good jalapeno poppers. Might have to make a batch of them too. Must just be loving this heat. Holy smokes. A little bit of okra over here. I did harvest a few of these before we left for the weekend. I guess we can pick that one. That one's a bit small. Okay, again, just a few okra. I do want to grab some of this cinnamon basil. We're gonna make some tea this week. I like using this cinnamon basil with some like blood orange tea bags. Lovely combination. I drink it iced, sweetened with honey. So I'll show you how I do that. My tea making process is just the same all around. So once you see one variety, that's just how I do it for the rest as well. So we'll grab a good few bunches of this. Oop, lots of bookies on that one. This is a variety of basil where just naturally it flowers, has these flower heads here. It does not affect the flavor, does not make it better. There are some varieties, like if you were to harvest Genovese basil after it had flowered, it can be a bit bitter. There's some little beetles all over these. There's one more cabbage head here I think I'm gonna need to harvest. Let's grab this one. So I know I had asked in another video about little mini cabbage heads developing around the head. Now, I knew that could happen after you harvested a head. If you like let the stem go, like the rest of the plant go, little ones can develop. I didn't realize it could happen on one that hadn't been harvested from yet. I counted 14 heads, little baby ones all around one of the other ones I had harvested. That was just news to me. I didn't know that could happen. We're also gonna get to this weedy mess next week. These are all my shallots, long overdue for harvesting. So we've got shallots and potatoes to do this week, but I wanna show you just a few developments. Do you hear that thunder? It's coming. So I'm gonna do this quickly, but by developments, I meant flowers. Look at the hollyhocks. Just started to bloom. Oh, here comes rain. I have a few in the garden right now that are blooming. Isn't that just lovely? Some more pops of colors in here. Like, hello, beautiful. Love that. This should be a variety of different colors. That's the one that has bloomed so far. Look at Bathsheba. Is that not perfection? So pretty. Echinacea still blooming beautifully. And then over here, look at Olivia Rose. Going to town yet again. Now, this time of year, she is usually ravaged by Japanese beetle, and they're in there. And because of just how hot and high the sun is, it bleaches the blooms a bit, so it's a very, very pale pink, unlike in May. It's a bit darker. When they first start out, they're darker like this, but the sun bleaches them that color this time of year. Earlier on in May, they stay this pretty pink color. Still beautiful, but yeah, lots of Japanese beetles. See the little buggers in there? They love the blooms. They devour all of my rose bushes. Another hollyhock. Look at this color. Sorry, my hands are shaky with this lens. It's a bit more sensitive, but beautiful. And another, this one is a double hollyhock. It's called Champagne. And I got this one, the seeds from Baker Creek. And now the black-eyed Susan, full bloom. Also, Lysianthus is blooming. Isn't that stunning? This one is Champagne. And then this one is the lime green. Just so delicate and lovely. One of my favorite flowers next to roses. And then speaking of roses, my newest David Austin, this is Tranquility, is blooming again. The rain is here, and I got in just in time. I rushed through and I grabbed a few more herbs. Let me put them all out. A little bit of lavender, pineapple sage, some more rosemary, some marjoram, some oregano, and the cinnamon basil we harvested. Almost forgot about the holy basil. Whole bunch. Tomatillos. Peppers. Jalapenos. Pepperoncini, I think. Shishito, I also think. Just a couple okra. Small little bundle of kale. Small head of cabbage. Some cucumbers. The first of some slicers and paste tomatoes coming in. This whole little container of cherry tomatoes. Little bundle of beets. A little harvest of beans. I added the little bit of berries I picked today to our bowl that Matt and I picked last night. Lots of yummy goodness in there. I found a few more okra in the fridge that I forgot I picked before the weekend. And I wanted to show you, I had my first harvest of the little jewel eggplants. I picked them right before we left, so I'll add them here to the table. Okay, there's our harvest for the last week of July 2024. Some new things are starting to come in, and there are some other things that are now on their way out. I am not totally sure what I'm gonna do with all of this. You'll have to wait for the next video. I have some ideas, but if you have anything you think we should try, let me know in the comments. I'm always open for new ideas. I might make some of these things into some things to eat fresh. Some meals, maybe a freezer meal or two. We're definitely gonna make some tea. We're definitely making some salsa verde. I have to figure out what to do with all of these shishito and pepperoncini. So if you have any ideas there, I might pickle some of them. I might make some into like a side dish, some blistered shishito peppers. We're gonna do some cowboy candy. I might make a small thing of eggplant parmesan, might make some fresh salsa, might make some beet kvass. So I need to get a game plan together, but we will work on that in the next video. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed coming along for this garden harvest. You have a blessed day, and I will see you next time. Take care.